Let me go back over here to at least YouTube where I know I can tell what the heck is going on. That's going live. I'm live over on the tube. So we're just going to let some people get into the room here. I'm going to let some folks get into the room. I am freezing cold. I'm in my basement. Oh, I don't want that. Oh my gosh, you guys, you're looking at that and you're not looking at me. Hello there. Hello, 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 hello. Um, yeah, so I'm freezing cold. I'm sorry that my desk is a little on the dirty side. It looks like I'm a little crooked too. So hang on one second. Let's go back here and let me figure out what's happening in my world. I don't think it's any worse or any better. All right, well, that should definitely be better. Okay. Hello, hello. I think that's better. Yeah, I look a little straighter now. How are you guys doing? I'm hoping that Facebook is actually working. I can't see what in God's name is going on Facebook. It's really irritating my soul. There's a camera issue. All right, gotcha. Um, Let me see. Okay, I've got settings. Let me see. Hang on, guys. I'm trying to get the Facebook thing going. I'm trying to get the Facebook thing going. It's a pain in the arse. It used to be so much easier to go live on Facebook. Oh, I don't want to use the camera. I want to use the encoder. Let's get it. Let's go. Okay, I have no idea what's going on, so I think I'm going to have to cut down the, I had to cut that off. Okay. All right, had to cut us off from YouTube. I mean, from Facebook because I can't get it working. So they'll just have to come and check this out. All right, how is everybody doing tonight? Sorry about that. I'm glad some people were able to be in the room. Hey, Miss Joanne and Marie and Ceresia and Jordy. I'm not sure what we're asking about. Oh, weird stuff. Okay. We'll see where we're at. Okay. We'll see where we're at after. I'm not trying to be on here for forever. I like to try to keep these podcasts to a certain level, a certain time limit. So I want to be cognizant of people's time. All right, we're just going to let this get out just a little bit more and let everybody in. So I'm assuming we can hear me finally. Like, okay, like that's not a problem, right? Good deal. So we're going to talk tonight. So here we're at about 5 minutes. We're going to talk tonight very much about the sixth of the Hermetic principles. Okay? The sixth of the Hermetic principles. And that principle is the principle of cause and effect. The principle of cause and effect. Everything is a causation. Okay, every effect has its corresponding cause. And so we're going to talk about this sixth principle. And the reason why I say this is so critical, I mean, all of them are critical for manifestation, but this one especially is quite critical for manifestation because it directly gives us the power to then create. It directly says we have the ability to be the causation of everything in our lives. And we have that responsibility to ourselves to master that and to not set that causation business outside of ourselves. So before we get started, and while people are coming into the room, I'm going to play, now don't go anywhere. Don't y'all be leaving. I'm going to play a quick, it's about 3 minutes or so, video about our upcoming event that I want you all to go, and when we're done here, go to my website, register for. There's like buy now, pay later. Honestly, you guys, we've made this so everybody can do it. So check this out, and then we'll be right back. You feel stressed, unhealthy, and lost. You feel like no one understands. You feel stuck in the matrix, stuck in the trap, and don't know how to get out and stay out. You want to take your power back, understand, and live from your spiritual side. You know there's more to your spirituality than just religion, and you feel like you need more knowledge, but there's no one to teach you in a way that makes sense and doesn't take years. You are not crazy. Life doesn't have to be this way. There's more to it, and you're finally awake. My name is Dr. Lisa, and I help people just like you every day to live their divine life, walk in their divine purpose, and unleash their divine nature to lead fulfilled lives. And in just 2 short days, we will take you from novice to divine god or goddess. We will help you tap into the cosmic energy that you know is there and activated within you. We will teach you how to use the if I can method of handling limiting beliefs. Now, if I can stands for identify, forgive, internalize, creation, and motivation. When you identify your limiting beliefs and the injuries that cause them, forgive those that incurred those energies and injuries on you, and most importantly, forgive yourself. You internalize then that healing and you transmute that energy. Then you begin to create a whole new world, a whole new perspective, and find the motivation to move forward in your divine purpose. We will help you create mindset and energy shifts for speedy manifestation. We will help you activate your spiritual and psychic abilities. Yes, we all have them, Divine One, over the course of these 2 days. We will teach you meditation methods specific to living and working in the astral and activation of your light language. We will give you an introduction to sacred geometry and how to use it to unlock the mysteries of your divine nature, and so much more. Listen, in addition to all of this, I've also put together a special divine box just for you. In it, you will find an orgone sphere with lapis lazuli and black tourmaline within to protect you from negative energies and EMF, a special 7-chakra Merkaba crystal, and some really beautiful sacred geometric crystals, all for use for meditation and gridding. A tarot and oracle deck specifically chosen for all of my divine gods and goddesses, incense, and even a few surprise gifts. if you want to start living in your divine nature, sign up for this 2-day virtual retreat, June 26th through 27th in 2021. And you could go to my website, www.heartofinspiration.net, and go there and register. The cost is only $333 for over 14 hours of instruction, and the divine box that, let me tell you, by itself has over a $150 value. Don't wait to do this though, beloved, because space is limited. Your divine is calling. Are you ready to unleash your divine potential? Awesome. Thanks for watching that. Thanks for considering it. Go over there as soon as we're done here. I don't want you skipping class. Go over there as soon as we're done here and go on and register. And then go on and choose one of the payment options too, because honestly, we made sure that everybody could participate. Okay. All right. Let's get on with this. Let me figure out where we're going here. All right. We are going to talk today about the principle of cause and effect. The principle of cause and effect. It is the sixth of the seven Hermetic principles. Now, because it's been a while, we're going to do this quick review, right? So if you've been with me, or this is the first of the Hermetic principles that you've been with me for, or if it's the sixth, doesn't hurt to review. So let's remember that the Hermetic principles are a part of Hermetic philosophy that has its roots in ancient Egypt. This is an ancient wisdom. It's been passed down to mankind through the master of masters, Hermes Trismegistus. Hermes was the father of occult or hidden wisdom. He's also the founder of astrology and the discoverer of alchemy. He was deified and made Thoth by the Egyptians, and then he was also deified as a messenger of the gods by the Greeks. Now, these teachings are were historically reserved for a select few people, because as most were not capable of understanding. They weren't ready. Because we're on this evolutionary stage and in this evolutionary position right now in humanity, and if you're already going through your ascension, you're in a good place. You're in a good place. We must remember that this is the true alchemy. Okay, this is the mastery of your mental forces to manipulate material reality. All right. I don't know if I updated this. Hopefully I did. So, yep, I did. Good. We've been through the first principle, which is the principle of mentalism, and then correspondence. Okay. Everything starts in the mind, and we're going to talk about a 5D mind. And then the principle of correspondence, the principle of vibration, the frequency. It's all about frequency, all about that vibe. Principle of polarity. Oh, goodness. And that one was the principle of rhythm, but it replaced it. I apologize. We'll update that. The principle of rhythm, and then the principle of cause and effect is what we're on today. Now, the principle of cause and effect, this one yet again, it builds upon the previous 5, especially then the principle of rhythm. So I would say go back and watch my previous playlisted videos. It does not allow you to escape the law of rhythm. I know that's weird. We think if we can create a new cause for something, a different cause brings about a different effect. You cannot escape this one either. Everything has a cause, and every cause results in an effect. There are many different planes, as with especially the cause, as you're seeing a consistent theme throughout all of this teaching. We can exist and interact with each of these Hermetic principles or laws on various planes of consciousness. They exist on all the different planes of consciousness or of reality. Okay? They exist everywhere, not in just one space or place. So there's different levels to this. And depending upon what level and what plane you choose to interact with each of the seven or all seven of the Hermetic principles or laws, that will dictate how that law plays out or principle plays out in your life. If you notice, the higher the vibrational set point you achieve, in other words, where your resting place is. Some people will say that some of us are afflicted with RBF. If you don't know what RBF is, resting bleep face. Okay? It's not that any of us have that or we're like mad or upset about anything. We're just thinking. Right? We're thinking. So, or that's just how we present, because we're always like trying to consider the next move, right? What's going to be the next effect after this particular cause. So there are many different levels or planes that we can enact this on. So if you're aware that perhaps that if you're on a Zoom call or in a video conference or something, someone can misinterpret your expression as RBF, you can then operate from a higher plane of consciousness and say, I'm aware of that, so I'm going to consciously get my facial expressions in order, right? And as you get your facial expressions in order, then people will then react to you a little bit differently. So depending upon which vibrational level or plane we're working in, we can exist on that plane, and then we enact these laws in a different way. They exist and still are in operation at all levels, beloveds. However, how they affect us varies, and whether or not we are in more control of them varies depending upon where our resting vibrational space is, or I don't know, our RVF, resting vibrational frequency. Oh, I just coined a new one. Nobody steals it. Here we go. The principle of cause and effect from the Kabbalion says every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law, not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. So we're going to go through each of these points in depth. I want to start with the first one, and I don't know if you can hear Gemini. She's going crazy wanting to come in here. I will not allow her in here, however, because as some of you that watch the podcast on YouTube will know, she likes to jump up here on this table. And because she likes to jump up on my table, then sometimes as she stretches out, she has the chance or the opportunity to potentially knock over and knock off my crystals, which she did and completely broke one today. So right now she's on timeout from being able to get on camera. Now, any of you that purchase crystals on a regular basis, especially ones that are in specific sacred geometrical shapes, can appreciate my frustration with my beloved Gemini. Anyway, every cause has its effect. Everything has a result. Everything has a result. Okay? Every effect has its cause. Every result has a cause. There's something that caused it to happen. And as we're going through this, I also want you to kind of interchange the word effect with the word event. Every cause has its event. Every event has its cause. Everything happens according to this law. You cannot escape this. There is always an opposite but equal action or reaction to your action. Every time. Chance, then, is but a name for law not recognized. We'll go into that. And there are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. We're going to go into what are the planes of causation as well. Now, here we go. The principle of cause and effect. The graphic that I have up, for those that are watching this on YouTube, true self-confidence is the cause of excellent outcomes, which is the effect. So when you have true self-confidence, that causes you to have excellent outcomes, right? So this principle then forces us to look at ourselves as the cause of everything in our lives, and that can be rather uncomfortable. Because we cannot then sit here and say, as sometimes religion allows us the latitude to be able to do, that if it's God's will, something will happen. And if it doesn't happen, then it must not have been God's will. No. It didn't happen for various reasons, but not solely and not really, in all actuality, as you can kind of dive into this a little bit further, because it wasn't God's will. There are a series of things that occurred that the effect then was, the event then was a different event than you wanted to occur. Now, this is a tough thing for us to realize that we have the ability to take complete responsibility for our lives. That's a tough realization. That's a tough pill to swallow, to say, well, wait a minute. What do you mean it wasn't God's will? There were plenty of things that I knew that were of my highest good, or what we term as God's will. Plenty that didn't necessarily happen, didn't turn out the way I thought it was. There were plenty of things that I convinced myself were God's will. And they happened, but I could tell you, well, I guess that's a circular argument too. Theoretically, in the moment, I didn't believe they were God's will. Now, there's always a redemption of time. In other words, everything that happens for a reason. It happens in a season. It happens in timing. Or doesn't happen. And even if you're not living from the space of your highest good, you can take what you have learned and then translate that into lessons, karmic clearing, what have you, that then turn out to make it of your highest good. Okay? Hang on one second. I want to look at... Sorry about that, guys. Now, I do recognize that some of what I'm about to say might make some people uncomfortable. And I also recognize some of what I've been teaching might smack in the face of what you've hitherto believed. I'm going to encourage you to open yourself up. I'm going to encourage you to open yourself up to the possibility that there is more to it than what meets the eye. Okay? Now, if we can believe this, if we can hold on to this, then we must make the decision, are we going to just be the affected, or are we going to be the causation? Are we just going to be the pawns that are moved about on the chessboard by those who have mastered their energy to the point whereby they can then actively participate in the causation of the effect in their lives? Or are you just going to continue to be subjected to how those that have that mastery are then utilizing you as a pawn to have the affected outcome they wish. I see some comments in the comment section. I want to address this first. Let me go back. I want to address this whole concept of free will, where it came from, and all of this. This is going to be a tough pill to swallow. Yes, we have free will, but as we know from the law of polarity, there's also on the opposite side predetermination or predestination. Okay? The circular argument then becomes, did you know, was it already destined that you were going to click on this link tonight and watch this video? Or did you actively choose to do so? Or is it a combination of both? That because you acted upon listening to what was going to be of your highest good, you then completed the task of clicking on this video tonight so that you could tune in and hear this because it was going to be of your highest good? Or were you always going to click on the video tonight irregardless of anything else? There we are, the polarity. Did you actively choose to click on this video? Or was it already predetermined or predestined? Or is it somewhere in the middle? I'm going to say, for the sake of the argument tonight, it's somewhere in the middle. The concept of free will, is that a concept? It's a tough one to put into perspective. Because on the one hand, it is an illusion of free will. Because your higher self already knows, in concert with source or creator, energy, or God, as some of you call that entity, and it's fine. There is then there's that idea, right? That there's the concept of free will that you have as a human, as a spiritual being having the human experience because you chose to incarnate to have the human experience, but you already knew what you were going to go through prior to having the human experience. And then the question then becomes, did you make choices along the way? Or because you're on a specific path, are you then the pawn in the chessboard because you haven't mastered your energy enough to be the causation of your world rather than the affected one of what others choose your causation to be? Now, when you can get to the point then, it said nothing about coincidences. When you get to the point where you are mastering your energy, then you are actively choosing to be the causation of the effects or events that happen in your world. We'll talk another time about free will and predestination, but I want to get this out here. This is critical to understanding or mastering this principle, and therefore mastering manifestation. Everything we've been talking about up until this point has been you choosing to live by a specific vibration. You choosing to live and understand that every thought that you have, that everything is everything. Everything is a thought. Nothing occurs without there being a thought that occurs first. Nothing. And every thought, all it does is recreate I shouldn't say recreate, it realigns energy. So the thought then creates a corresponding vibration that then gets you into where does it fall in the level of polarity so that we can bring it in from thought to reality, from the opposite end of imagination into the physical end of reality, right? Such that you are operating then within the rhythmic flow, ebb and flow of, I have a high vibration and then I swing over here and then I swing up. No. Let's operate at a neutrality level so it doesn't matter whether or not inflation rises or falls. It doesn't matter. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but I'm not too happy about it. It doesn't matter that now gas prices are skyrocketing. There's a cost to that. Whether you want to believe it or not, there's a cost to that. And some of the choices some of us made have caused this event to happen. Your gas prices rising, inflation going up. There are choices you made. However you might think that they're minuscule, or however right you may have thought you were when you made those choices. There's choices that were made that now have this event, this effect. So this is a hard pill to swallow. Every choice you make is the cause to the next event or some event further down the line. And you might not even recognize, and we'll talk about this in a minute, where that choice way back here, how you then sent that energy out into the universe to cause it to happen later on down the line. But everything you think, say, and then do creates a ripple effect down the line. So I say that because I want us to get out of this mode. If you're still there, oh, if it's God's will, it will be done. That's garbage. That's garbage. And I am an ordained minister. That's garbage. This is the reality. You are a piece of God. Right? Created in there, I will forevermore say there, because I refuse to just say his, because I've not met a man yet. I've not met a man yet that can create a baby on its own, on their own. A man, or one that was built or born with biological male parts, male reproductive parts. When you all can show me a man, a man that was born with the biological male reproductive organs that has created a baby completely on his own, no assistance anywhere from anyone, I will then refer to God solely as a man. Don't worry, I'll wait. Now, I ain't gonna wait too long because it don't mother trucking exist. Amber, we'll talk about that as soon as we're done, okay? And then I'll let my editor know afterwards that the podcast is done, and we'll answer some questions afterwards. I got time tonight, so we're gonna answer that question after, okay, baby? All right. I'm gonna scroll up. I'll be sure. If I don't get to it, Amber, copy that question so you can ask it to me later, okay, babe? All right. Now, so it's complete garbage that we're going to sit around here and wait for God's will. It's going to be it's complete garbage. It's complete garbage to think that a male energy created this entire everything. Complete. Now, they, divine mother, father, that comprises God, entity, energy, the all, the divine feminine and masculine, all wrapped into one, created you and I and everything that we see in their likeness and in their image. Therefore, you, as it's even referred to, I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I'll continue to say it till I transition. And then I'll probably come back and haunt every last one of you and say it again. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'll be back. Anyway, point is that you then are referred to as God, small g. You are from that divine entity, correct? Okay. That means within you, you have the ability to then to think, speak, create, or be the causation of everything that is affecting you. Are you listening? Ouch. Are you listening? You have the ability to affect it. You have the ability to be the master of the cause and effect, that really didn't help, in your world, in your life. So, God and Goddess, what is your will? What's your will? You know, this quotation of Jesus on the cross, not my will, but thy will be done. Lord, help us all. I feel like that was a miscommunication, a misnomer, a misinterpretation, or choosing to put that version there. I believe that was his human side, if we're going to believe he was fully God, fully man, as an ascended master. That was his human side saying, not my human will be done, but speaking to higher consciousness in concert with God consciousness or source consciousness or creator consciousness, saying, because what normal third dimensional human being actually wants to die, especially in a horrible fashion of that manner? You know, if you knew that this was the way you was going to die physically, this is completely off topic, but it's not really. You knew you were going to die horribly, painfully. Your natural primal instinct is to get your ass out of that situation. Pardon my French, but you gonna look for the first thing smoking in the other direction. You're not trying to walk into that as a normal human being. Am I right or am I wrong? So we've been taking this to mean so much more. Oh, we have to let God follow God's will. Can we finally get to a point where we recognize that what is of our highest good is God's will? Because it's your will. It's what you came here to do. It's what you really want. And you have been spending your entire life preparing yourself to exercise that will. Now, if that, I ain't trying to show y'all all of that. Okay. If that makes y'all a little uncomfortable, Ceresia, neither are you. You are not a normal human being either. You are fully God and fully woman. You have God living inside of you. You have a God consciousness within surrounding you because you are of God. The longer it takes you all to recognize that you are a divine being, the longer it's going to take you all to live that way. I'm not saying you're an ascended master, but what I am saying is you hold all the keys within you. The universe lives within you and without you. Period. Point blank. That's it. End of discussion. It lives within and without. The problem is we don't recognize that and we don't master that knowledge. And when we don't master that knowledge, we remain pawns on the chessboard. Expendable. Wholly and totally expendable. This might seem like it has nothing to do with the law of cause and effect, but it absolutely does, because the effect of us being tied down and constrained by and held underneath this religious boundaries and this religious thinking that has stripped us of our own power and has stripped us of truly living inside of a Christ consciousness, which is the consciousness of Christos, this love within, this love for all of humanity, this ascendedness, the ascended ability to truly recognize our divinity as well as our humanity all at the same time and become fully integrated into that consciousness and that revelation thereof, which is the position that we're in right now. By us being underneath this rule and control and basically bound and told you can't go no further is what causes us the events that we have where we're not living a divine life. Socialized and controlled. Thank you. This is a tough pill for our third dimensional bodies, minds, sometimes to swallow. So I'm going to ask you to allow me to speak to your higher self. I'm going to ask you to let me speak to your higher self. Now let's get it. Let's go. Let's get back into it. True self-confidence is the cause to have excellent outcomes of the effect. Let's move forward. This law then, right? So we've assessed some of these issues here. Every cause has its effect. Everything, every thought, every word, everything that has ever happened has its effect. I'm going to even take it another step. Let's take it another step. Let me go back because I think I gotta live here for just 1 second, and then we'll go back. Had your mother and father not met, and then your paternal grandmother and grandfather, and then your maternal grandmother and grandfather, and then your paternal grandfather, his mother and father, and then your paternal grandmother, mother and father, and then on, so on and so on. If all those things hadn't happened, you would not have been here right now. Now that's just a fact of nature. That's a natural third dimensional. You would not have been here right now, incarnated in the avatar you are incarnated in. So 10 generations back, a whole bunch of people meeting up, either falling in love or not, being forced to marry or not, however it freaking occurred, a whole bunch of people got together and made some babies on either side of your lineage. And then they met some people, and then they had babies. And then they met some people, and then they had a baby. And they met some people, and so on, until it got down to your mother and your father. Them people 10 generations back up your daddy's side, up your daddy's daddy side, had no clue that in the future what would result is you. No idea. Nor do you know, unless you do some past life work and really go back into your Akashic and go back a few 10, 15 generations, do you know that your great grandpappy back there or grandmama back there was such a powerful, they probably would have called her a witch, or maybe that she was a shaman, or maybe he was a medicine man, or maybe they were a king, or maybe they were a high priest, or what have you, and then brought through this bloodline all of these beautiful abilities and aspects that now have landed in you. That now have landed here in you. I'm not coming back here. Y'all stop. Y'all better stop. So there's causations to everything, right? And that's just one thing. Why I go back there is because I want you to grasp both the enormity and the logic of everything that I'm saying. The enormity of it is it's to infinity. This is an infinite concept that has no end and no beginning. However, mastery of this concept will then dictate whether or not what's of your highest good truly comes in, and you then steer your causation. You can't change. You will always have to be subject to cause and effect. However, you can master your ability to stay up here and create, if you will, or causate from your highest good the effects that happen in the manifestation down below, because you're operating from the level of from a level of neutrality. Remember the law of rhythm. I'm up here, so the pendulum swinging down here, it's very rare that pendulum swing really affects my vibrational level. Why? Because I'm operating from a higher level. So as the ebb and the flow happens, I don't get overly concerned about the ebb and the flow, because I'm operating from a level of neutrality. So I know rhythmically it's going to come back. Okay? Rhythmically, it's always going to rise. There's going to be a bit of an ebb, and then it's going to rise. We're good. Because I'm keeping my vibrations on a certain level. That way, the causation I am employing in my life is from a higher level. It's from a higher vibration, and therefore then the effects can be of my greater good, or the events that occur as a result of the causation are then of my highest good. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Well, Ceresia, you're not a one and done chick, my love. This ain't the first time you've been here. Ooh, we're going to have to talk about that reincarnation thing, I think. Okay, let's keep it moving. The principle of cause and effect. Now we're going to move into this. Let me go back here. Oh, wait. Did I even go back to that screen? I didn't, so y'all wouldn't even know where I'm at. Let's go back here. So now we're going to move. Everything happens according to law. So everything. Now we're going to move into this section. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. Let's move into chance. This law then completely negates the concept of chance. Chance is only there when you don't know the cause. Even in games of chance, it's not really chance outcomes. The cause of the effect or the actual end event is simply imperceptible to the third dimensional human mind. So then every effect or event that occurs does not happen independent of another prior event. We just may not be able to readily perceive the prior events. The example that as I was studying this, one of the examples that was given me was that, we think that if we roll a die, right, that's got sitting at 1 through 6, that if we roll a die, it's just chance. In fact, the word chance was derived from the word to fall. So games of chance are as something just happens to fall, right? So we think that die, that it's chance, whether or not it's going to land on the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Nothing could be further from the truth. There's a series of things that happen before that die ends up on that particular side. There are potentially my granddaughter is screaming. She has now hurt herself. Pretty sure they're probably doing some things they weren't supposed to do upstairs. And she's now hurt herself. At any rate, There could have been a slight change in room temperature. There could have been a slight shift in the flick of your wrist. There could have been a slight additional or lesser amount of force that's applied to said die as it was being rolled. It could have hit one corner differently than the first time, then the second time, then the third time, then the fourth time. All of these things could have happened. However, what is reality is statistically, it has as equal of an opportunity to hit on one as it does on six, and rolled enough times, it will statistically even out. It will land on any of those numbers. But because we are not certain, or we cannot perceive of all of the subtle differences surrounding whether or not it landed in a particular spot or not, because of that fact, that causes us to believe that it's by chance, and it's not. There is no such thing as chance. There's only imperceptible applications of the law of cause and effect, right? So even something falling off of the top of a building, okay, so let's say that, or a tree branch breaking off and hitting the roof of your house or your garage, let's say. Well, there was a storm, right? And they're like, oh, what are the chances that a tree branch, the whole limb was going to like crash down on my roof? It was by chance. No, it wasn't. There have been over years of time where perhaps ants eating it, bugs, perhaps all these different things that weaken that limb. And over time, there have been changes in weather patterns. And over time, there have been this, that, and the other. A series of imperceptible causations that then created events that then created and multiplied and changed and on top, until the wind or lightning or whatever happened to hit that limb. And then the trajectory of how it fell landed on top of your garage. There is never anything that is a chance event. And when you get to that perspective of nothing happens by chance, then we really get to play with something fun, because now we can cause everything. So, here we go. So every effect or event that occurs does not happen independent of another prior event. We just may not be able to readily perceive the prior events. So how do we apply this then to manifestation? Is there really a moment or an instant of creation that results in manifestation? And are we really then in control of the events that occur in our lives? Now here we get to the good stuff. I know this might be difficult for you to see, so I apologize. So I'm going to read it, and then maybe later you can like screw this. You can screw this up. No, you can make this bigger. As you choose to become the master instead of the slave to this and all Hermetic principles, you develop the ability to control your thoughts, your moods, and your emotions. Your thoughts, your moods, and your emotions. There is a reason why I differentiate between moods and emotions. The emotions is the energy that you are sending out and putting into motion at any given time. Your mood is the lens through which, or the tunnel through which, you are sending that energy out. If you can keep your mood on an even plane, that means your emotions are then steady and they're staying stable. They're not very rocky, right? They're pretty even keeled. If you could keep your emotions even keeled and steady, you'll be shocked at how well your mood, if you can keep your moods even keeled and steady as well, and operate from a place of neutrality. I'm not saying you have to be perfect. Let me tell you something. I get mad just like the rest of everybody else. Trust and believe I get mad. I have a little anger streak. I got an Aries moon. What do you expect? I got a little sappy streak. I'm a Cancer sun. What do you expect? I got a stellium in the 7th house, so I can act very Libra-ish. And sometimes people get the tail end of that Libra-ness, and they're like, God, dog it, where'd that come from? You cold. Sometimes I could be pretty ice cold. That's that Cap rising, along with that super stellium going on over there in that 7th house. Mercury, Venus, but my Venus is in Leo. Mars, the sun. What else is sitting over there? I think Jupiter's up in there too. It's a party in my 7th house. Okay? There's a party over there. Not nice sometimes. But this happens. But you gotta do your best to stay in neutrality and let that neutrality be at a higher level. In other words, I don't let too many things get me down, and I really, really, really have worked quite hard at ensuring that I don't get angry too quickly either. Because when your moods can turn on a dime, that means your energy can turn on a dime, and you cannot maintain focused, energetic frequency because you're too busy going 0 to 100 in less than 60 seconds. Do you see what I'm saying? 0 to 100 in less than 60 seconds does not work well for manifestation purposes or creation purposes. But as we are mastering all of these different principles that are in operation in the world, on the earth, and then apply them to the higher dimensional plane of ourselves, trust me, you are then able to master your thoughts, your moods, and your emotions. So my thoughts towards the upcoming retreat. I have a certain number of attendees. I would very much like to be in this retreat. Okay? Both my current students and those that haven't yet come into the academy full-time or full-time. That's where I'm at, right? I can get sad because I've not seen as many people sign up as I would hope. But I also then say, well, maybe I need to put it out here a little bit more. Maybe I need a little bit more promo. Maybe I need to make sure people understand what's going on with it. Whatever the case is. And I don't fall into a state of depression if I've not seen the response yet that I wanted. It's okay. Because that response will come. But I have to keep my vibration at a certain level. My frequency is to stay at that level. Right? In order for it to manifest. In order for it to be created. My attitude towards this whole situation, this whole retreat, will cause it to either, the effect of it will be either success by whatever level I measure it, or not. Right? Or not. So we have to get to this perspective and this point where we are managing our emotions. Now, I do see some, comments in here where people are saying, well, there's like some mental health, illness going on, and some that might not be as easy. Completely understand. And in working with people with some of those illnesses that are showing up, there are also various ways to even out the hormonal and other imbalances. It will be a little bit more difficult for you, but the mental illness is occurring in your third dimensional mind, not in your spirit, not in your higher self. So it is transcending the third dimensional mind to allowing the spirit to be in control, that then assists in the third dimensional realms. Right? In the third dimensional realms. Okay? So as you are mastering these principles, that this then becomes a much easier way for you to then get control over your thoughts, your moods, and your emotions. As that happens, then from a higher plane of causation, because you are living and existing in a higher frequency, you do not escape the law, but you come into concert with the all, or with source, able to have different events occur. In other words, if you stayed on the trajectory of the third dimensional brain as you're going right now, there's a certain sequence of events that will happen. Whenever you then raise your vibration, you end up going on another track. You end up operating in a different dimension. You end up in a space and a place that then allows you to, what do I always say? Come up here. So from up here, you are able to see all of these different causations, and then into the future, all these different effects, and you're like, oh, heck no. I ain't going out like that. Right? So then you choose something different. The choice is yours. Choose ye this day, this hour. You raise yourself up so you're not affected by all this going on, and you're in the calm space. You're in that Six of Swords space where you get out and you're moving on to them calm waters, right? You in that space. So from that space, what you do then is you're able to, so I'm going to shift this energy and this frequency here. And the effect of it then on earth as it manifests, it begins to then change the rhythm. It begins to then shift the polarity. You then operate in a different level of correspondence, of vibration and mentalism. And then your brain and your heart or your spirit are in perfect concert. And then creation then changes. The effect or the event that happens has been caused from up here. But you shifted from operating on this road to jumping lanes and coming up here. Jumping planes and operating it from here. Not saying you can escape cause and effect, but you can enact a different cause by mastering your emotions, moods, thoughts, and operating from a higher vibrational plane, which then that creates different events. So you're not now the pawn, or you're not affected in the same way. So if I go back to my gas prices is crazy high. It ain't been this high in God knows when. I could tell y'all, but y'all be mad. So gas prices ain't been this high in a long mother trucking time. Okay. Now, typically, and I went and just filled up, I just got a 2013 Kia Optima. It's a real nice car, in my ad. It's got a brand new engine in it, so I don't think it's got the 100,000 plus miles. I think that engine has got a lot less. So she running beautiful, got a sunroof and everything, child, sunroof, moonroof, got a whole heated and cooled seats, a beautiful thing. But I went and filled her up yesterday. Baby. Because she was almost on E. I want to see how long I could go. When I tell you that cost me $45 to fill that tank up, child. Now, I did not create that effect, right? But that's what it was, that event or this event. I look at it in a different way, though. The reason why I don't have an attitude towards it, which would then cause a whole bunch of other things happening, and it would lower my vibrational set point, and it would lower my vibration in every other area of my life, is because guess what? I work from home. I don't hardly go anywhere. So when I tell y'all a tank of gas, a full tank, probably lasts me about 3 weeks, maybe sometimes 3.5. I don't go nowhere. I work from home. I go outside. People come over to see me. I make an occasional trip here and trip there, but I don't go too far. Okay? So therefore, I don't need to be affected as, it's not cool. I ain't happy about it per se, but I can look at it from a place of neutrality. Because immediately when I saw that $45, I was like, ooh. And the next state, and then there was a gentleman filling his tank next to me. He was like, I know. I said, I am so glad and so thankful and grateful that I work from home. Facts. That kept me from wigging out. So when you don't ever escape it. That was my point. I'm not escaping the events that are occurring here on the third dimensional plane. However, the events and how I allow it to affect my life and or various causations in my life, I have control over as the master of my life. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't an overall master, but if I believe I'm part of the all, or I am part of source, then we're all working in concert, right? It's not a source against me or God against me or the all against me. I'm part of that higher consciousness. I broke off to have a human experience, but I'm part of it. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. Events will cause other events. The difference is the plane of consciousness that you participate in the causing of these events. The reason why I had to remind you that energy is neither created nor is it destroyed. Again, this is next level stuff. If we understand that energy is neither created nor destroyed, the act then of creation is the act of, on the higher dimensional plane, rearranging molecules so that they manifest and show up here in the earthly realm. It gets birthed here into the earthly realm in a way that we have so chosen, so desired, in working with our highest good. How are you going to cause the ethereal energy to coalesce and have a positive effect in not only in your life, but in the life of humanity? This isn't about self-service. This is the other thing that bothers me sometimes with with religion, is there's so much self-service and not enough service to the collective. or it swings so far to the service to the collective that there's not enough self-service. Take your power back. Take your creation power back. Take your causation power back. You caused what's occurred. It has all occurred for a reason, but you have caused what has occurred in some way, shape, or form. When you change lanes, you change planes. When you change planes, you're flying higher and you can see everything clearer and you can create everything easier, or should I say, impact the effects and events in your life easier because you're up here and not being swayed by what's going on down here. This all sounds quite familiar, I'm sure, if you've been with me throughout this series. Okay? Energy is neither created nor destroyed. Events cause other events. The event of you meditating later on today or first thing in the morning, the event of you giving your highest good, your higher self, your true consciousness, the authority and the ability to speak into and maneuver your third dimensional avatar and the life your third dimensional avatar leads and everything that is surrounding your third dimensional avatar, that event will set into motion other events that eventually will manifest as the life you wish to have. If you do not physically, or should I say spiritually, physically, if that makes sense, actually believe that what you decide up here dictates everything down here, that if you do not actually believe that your choices are here and you can be the master of your universe, you will never be it. I don't care how much. Guys, oh my gosh. I hope y'all still love me in the morning. Please promise me y'all gonna love me tomorrow, or you're gonna still love me tonight. Please promise me that. I don't care how many times you say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, Lise. I'm gonna do that, Lise. You haven't decided that that's actually what you believe you're going to do yet. You made that decision yet, have you? Not really. Or you haven't really decided that you can actually create the life that will allow you to do the things that you tell me you're going to do. There are things you've wanted to manifest, create, what have you, in your life for a long time, beloveds. It ain't happened yet. It ain't happened yet. I've been out here talking to y'all for a while. It ain't happened yet. Why? Now, you could blame it on a whole lot of stuff. And it's probably true. But I'm going to tell you, at the root of it all, beloved, is the fact that you have not made the decision at that higher level, in the higher plane, that's the life you're going to live. And this is what you're going to do. And this is who you are, and you're going to finally live it. You're still waiting for some spotlight, something to come out the clouds, somebody to appear in your dream, somebody to make themselves manifest. You are still waiting for that to happen and create the ability for you to do that instead of creating it yourself. I did not do this or did not have the ability to have Lightworker Academy, to have Heart of Inspiration, to walk away from corporate America, to do all these things until I actually made the decision to cause it to happen. And that required some pretty bold steps. And that required some pretty blind steps. And that required me to get so far out of my comfort zone and take accountability and responsibility for the BS that I had created in my life. It also forced me to take accountability and responsibility for the fact that deep down inside, maybe I did not believe in myself. And that was causing the effect and the events of my not being a successful entrepreneur. Now, I want you to sit there and let that simmer for a second. I'm literally telling you that I caused myself to not be successful in this, what I am doing now. The whole time it was, quote unquote, God's will that I do what I'm doing now. The whole time. For years I was. God's will be done. God's will be done. God's will be done. What in the God's name is your will? Can you answer? Riddle me that, Batman. What is your will? And I'm not saying that I don't want to hear what you all are working on manifesting and creating. I'm not saying that at all. Tonight is one of those hard, like, I'm coming at you and I'm cutting deep. Tonight is one of those, I'm not playing tonight. Because I do not want you to walk away from this time we're spending together, still remaining in the belief that some outside freaking force is going to cause an event to occur in your life without you being a part of that. And I don't want you to walk away from this discussion tonight not understanding that your very thoughts, words, deeds, moods, emotions are causing the events that are occurring in your life right now. And the reason why that your life hasn't changed is because you have not changed the place from which you are causing the events to happen. That is a tough pill to swallow. That is a difficult one. That is rough. That is raw. That is real, and it's happened in my life. More of you can live the life that I'm living, or should I say, live the life of a free entrepreneur and a free thinking person. It doesn't cause you to be you don't have to be an entrepreneur to be a free thinker, but more of you can be freer to live your purpose. You have to make the choice to do so. And you have to invest in yourself, and you have to decide that you're going to follow these directions. That's right. Keza says, like weight loss, only yourself can do that, not God. Hard work and focus on good results. Exactly. And you can only do it for you. If you want to do it for, like, it doesn't work or it doesn't stick if you losing the weight for your partner. It's got to be for you. And let me tell you, Keza, thank you for saying that, because the majority of what occurs, let me tell you where 80 to 90% of weight loss is in your mind. When you decide you're losing weight, you're going to lose the weight. Period, point blank, in a mother trucking discussion. When you decide you're going to lose the weight and get healthy, that's when it'll happen, not a moment sooner. And your weight loss will increase and come off a lot easier. The minute I said, you know what, I don't feel, I'm getting a little too heavy for myself. Now I did the steps necessary as well, but I had to make that decision that that's what I was doing, and I was doing it because I wanted to, not because I wanted to get cute and get whatever, because I'm already cute and I'm already beautiful, and I ain't trying to get that way for nobody else. Okay, holla if you hear me. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you're saying. I don't care how you feel, boo bear. I love me and I'm beautiful at whatever way I am. However, I decided this is something I wished to do. And the moment I made that decision in my mind, my body had to follow suit. All right? Now, so I'm saying this not because I'm not because I don't like y'all, but the difference in your events are the plane of consciousness that you participate in and you live in. We're almost done. Y'all remember I show y'all this chart all the time. This emotional vibration analysis chart. As our cause and effect frequency, our frequency set point raises. So as we live on a higher plane, our interaction with source or the all or God energy becomes more pure and it becomes clear. We are able to raise above being controlled by chance, air quotes, or third dimensional programming. As we remain in lower frequency cause and effect or contraction, we will not be able to see past pain, trauma, and programming to truly understand or trace all past causes for the effects that show up in our lives. In other words, this is the summation of what we've been saying. As your vibrational frequency raises in the set point and you realize, wait a minute, I can be the master of my causation and not the pawn being shuffled around and sacrificed for somebody else's gain. Then your interaction, higher self to highest, higher self to the ethers, higher self to source, angels, guides, ancestors, you know, everybody up there is now purer and clearer. The communication becomes crystal clear. The viewpoint from up there, you ever heard the term about it's rare air, right? Some people get so high up, they talk about how they living in the rare air. Well, I live in rare air. I ain't Jay-Z or Beyonce, and I ain't trying to be. I ain't Rihanna. I ain't none of them people. But I tell you what, I'm living in rare air. Because my point of view is from up here. And I'm able to see the entire board. And then I'm also able to see into the future to say, okay, if I move here, this happens here. If I move there, this happens here. Oh, my good Lord, help us all. Right? Are you going to live in rare air is my point. It becomes crystal clear. Now, you will not necessarily be able to know all of the process on the third dimension and all of the things that have the dominoes that have to fall in order for the cause that you have put into action for it to come out with the effect that is so desired. However, what I will tell you is this: if an unexpected domino falls, you ain't going to be that upset because you're still going to be living up there. And you'll be able to check in and be like, was that supposed to happen? Oh, it was? Okay, cool. We're moving on. Now, when you're not living in rare air, when you're living down at the bottom, you can't see past all that red, orange, and yellow stuff. You can't get past all that. In order to truly trace back all the original past causes for the effects, the point of also living in the rare air is this: you can trace back Then pain, trauma, programming, find out where it started, transmute, translate, and reintegrate that into your base being so that then now it's a source of power, not a source of pain, trauma, or programming. You can reprogram yourself. And as I would say when I was a preacher, I'm closing now. And I put Albert Einstein back here because he understood the theory of relativity. He got it, that everything is relative, everything is energy. We must master our minds, as we have seen throughout this series, in order to master the root causes, or to choose specific, casual, or causational events to produce the desired effects in our lives. This, then, beloved, is creation. You master your mind. You master your mind. You master your world. Now, wow. All right. Let me go back over here to the studio. And the effect may look differently. Yes. All right now. Hey, Red Violet. Hey, Ashley. And Dr. Simone, hello. Now, that's where we're at. That's where we've been. That's cause and effect. I want to, so this is the end of the podcast as was said before, or that we're saying now. So my editor will know about an hour and 26 minutes in. I'm going to answer some questions at this point. Amber, if you're still here, I'm scrolling up to see if I can find your question, beloved. And then there's also a question about Ceresia. Amber, let's see if I can find you. Okay, Amber, your question is, this is a bit off topic, but does being this spiritually enlightened affect your relationships? I feel as if I cannot fully connect with other people because of all the things I know. Yes, it does. Yes, Amber, it does. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I ain't going to lie to you. It does. However, I will say this. You then begin to cherish two types of relationships. One with people that are like-minded, like us here. Like those that are, a member of my Lightworker Academy or that come to my retreats and are members, and we're about to do some more on my website here for some membership folks. Because we're all like-minded people and we support one another. And we love on each other. And it's a great community. So you really do appreciate, even if it's only virtual, you really do appreciate that. And then there's another type of person you appreciate. A relationship. You appreciate the type of relationship where you don't have to be on. Where I'm kind of in I don't know what's going on right now, but I'm situationship. And we keep being on again, off again, on again, off again. But what I will say is, this man honors who I am from a spiritual standpoint, but allows me to be a woman and allows me to be human. And there are times, maybe more than I'm willing to admit, that I just want to be human. I just want to be Lisa. I don't want to be Dr. Lisa. I don't want to be Dr. Lisa with Lightworker Academy. I don't want to be Psychic Lisa. I don't want to be Mama Lisa, Auntie Lisa, Gaia aspect Lisa, Isis aspect Lisa. I don't want to be none of them people. None of them things that I am. Right? Goddess Lisa. I don't want to be that. Shaman, whatever. I just want to be me. I just want to be human. The human Lisa. And not feel like I have to be on. So sometimes it is harder to connect. It does affect our relationships, especially with family and friends, and sometimes it can affect romantic relationships too. But you're not always required to be that person all the time. Because don't forget, you've come here, Amber, to have a human experience. Okay? Never forget that. Never forget that. Well, Amber, you appreciating people that who don't appreciate you back tells me that you may want to think about doing some work, babe. Doing some energy work, doing some mentorship, some guidance. We're going to have a few more opportunities for that to happen. Get some healing done. Because that within you that's telling me that you, from childhood on probably, have put your feelings, needs, and emotions secondary to yours. You're not walking from a place of divinity. You're walking from a place of servitude. Right? And we want you walking empowered. All right, babe? Okay. Now, there is Cericia. What did you ask me earlier? Let me see what Cericia asked me earlier if I can find it. Weird stuff happening. What weird stuff are you seeing? Because I'm seeing plenty of weird stuff. But I want to see if you see what I see. Do you see what I see? Do I see what you see? Hey, Jacqueline. I've been emotional lately and don't know where it's coming from. Well, there's a lot of places that could be coming from, sweetie. Well, blessing, Stefan. Everyone, I want you to, if you can, let me see, Stefan, if I can find your YouTube channel here, dear. I want you all, this is my new friend. Well, I should say I refriended Stefan. And I want you all, he has a new YouTube channel, and I want you to please go and subscribe to it. I'm going here to get his... Let's see here. Bear with me, guys. 1 second. Please, guys, go and subscribe to his channel, okay? Steph and I are going to be doing a lot of work together here very soon, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit here. But please go and, when you get an opportunity, subscribe to Stefan's channel. I put the link there in the chat. Okay? Anyway, no, honey, I understand. I'm just saying I'm seeing a lot of things happen. Jacqueline, we're going to discuss that in a moment. Welcome, Stefan. Thank you so much for joining us. So, okay, what's occurring? First, you had to watch a friend's live stream. Okay, but I'm not sure why that would be occurring. You tried to watch it, but couldn't hear him. Your volume was all the way up. It could probably be some things that's going on with his audio or anything like that. So I'm not sure. I thought you meant like world events. So Jacqueline, I'm going to bop back and forth. So Cerisa, you could put some more stuff in there if you wish. Okay, here we go. Came home from her brother's, we're listening to a CD, and a man's voice came through in the car stereo. What did the man's voice say? Guys, you have to remember that the new moon that just occurred opened everything up. There's no such thing as this veil being thin anymore. The veil is open. I would say the veil is ripped, much like in the Bible when it speaks of the Christ consciousness as as there was a full release of it into the earth, the veil was ripped in the temple that separated man from God, if you will. The veil's ripped. So what did the man say? These are things that we got to start identifying as on our own, because what did he say? How did he feel? What did you feel like weirded out? Did you feel, did it make you unsettled? All these things. You're going to hear and see a lot of things. You're going to hear and see a lot. Y'all think y'all seeing UFOs right now? You ain't seen nothing yet. Y'all think y'all hearing voices now? Baby, it's wide open. And you're awake. Your responsibility is to hear. No, they're not your voices. Then that individual or that entity was talking to you in a light language. They were speaking in a light language. Okay? Now, yes, voices out of nowhere. They're not out of nowhere. They're in other dimensions at the same time. We are hearing. We are seeing. The other realms are contacting us. Your own consciousness in concert with the collective consciousness is turning up the volume. Nothing new. You saw both your grandmothers while doing Reiki? Oh, that's awesome. See? Veil. Thin. Started a relationship and trying to juggle going back to school. Yes, UFOs are real. Yes, UFOs are real. So, what does the new relationship... So, you're trying to juggle the relationship, school, and work. It's not really a question of juggling. It is a question of creating space for each of these things to occur within your life. And if any of them seems harder to make space for, then perhaps it's not meant to be in your life. That's the tough thing, right? So you cannot, like I just said, you absolutely have to maintain relationships that help you to maintain your humanity. But they have to also honor your spiritual self, as you have to honor your true and spiritual self, Jacqueline. Don't busy yourself up and muddy up the waters so much that you are doing too much that you cannot also concentrate on your spiritual walk and your spiritual growth and your spiritual ascension, because that, at the end of the day, is what you're truly meant to be here for. Yes, UFOs are real. Very real, Keza. I think I told you guys the story, but if I didn't, 2-3 weeks ago now, maybe 4, maybe it is a month ago now. Full moon at the last, was it the last full moon or new moon? New moon, not this new moon, but the new moon after the 10th. So it was right around Mother's Day weekend. I had a series of 100, it was 100 UFOs in perfect linear formation, perfectly spaced out, fly overhead my house for 3 nights in a row. Jackie, you have a lot of things going on that's telling me you have a massive spiritual awakening happening for you. You have ascension happening to you, and you need to tap into what's going on. And some do look like pyramids. What are your deceased family members saying? We have to pay attention. Well, Joanna, talk to him and find out if he's hearing. You know he's not having a psychotic break. Yes, Kaza, that is why pyramids are, well, I would say that we think that they were worshipped. That's not true. They were not worshipped. They were venerated, and the ancients understood what the power of this sacred geometrical shape truly is. They were not worshipped. They were used, they were revered. But today we say, oh, well, they were worshiping pyramids. That's another way for religion to basically tell you you can't be worshipped. Don't get into that Kemetic stuff because then you're going to hell in a handbasket. You know, they worship pyramids and cats and all kinds of things. No, stop it. Just stop it. Just cut it out. Yeah, been feeling outer body sometimes or elevated. Yeah, because we're like literally going out. Like we're coming in and out is not as difficult as it ever was. Yeah, there you go, Keza. Exactly. All right. You know what I think I better happen here. All right. There are going to be some questions. I think I need to have another Q and A session. So we'll be doing that this week. We're going to have a Q and A session. I'll figure out when. Another few things are going to happen here very shortly. Um, Stefan, that was just here, is helping me, or has opened me up to, or guided, helped me. He is the guide, or helping me to get to this point where channeling is not the right word, but perhaps it's the only word that I have. Being in touch with my higher consciousness, or my consciousness, my awareness, as it is connected to source awareness, or the all universal awareness, and channeling directly from that plane rather than through this vessel. We're going to do it one more time, and then we're going to start doing that here on this channel, and then on my YouTube, on my website. So be on the lookout for that. I have channeled before, of course. You guys have been here when that's happened. This is a little different because this is from awareness. This is the true self rather than the vessel. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to start channeling from there and start speaking from there. That's going to begin to occur very shortly. Like, real shortly. Okay? And I think it's time we have some sort of question and answer night. At some point, I don't know if it's going to be this week, but on the 20th, I think. Yeah, on the 20th, in fact, we're going to be doing an Aphrodite ritual, so I'll tell you guys about that. Yeah, I'll let you guys know. If you haven't already gone over to my website and sign up for the newsletters and things, heartofinspiration.net, there's a pinned comment up at the top if you've not signed up for the retreat, Unleash Your Divine, to unleash your divine nature and unlock it, as well as psychic abilities, your light language, working from the astral, so on and so forth, sacred geometry, and some other things. Please go there and click on that, or click on the link in the description box below. It's only $333. You have payment plans available to you. I need y'all to sign up so I can start ordering this stuff. Okay? And there's limited space. Let's go. Because pretty soon I'm going to shut it down, and whoever signed up has signed up, and then I'm just going with it. I'm real to the point. But, we got to do these things so we can create our lives. This week, I'm not sure what to talk about. So if you have ideas, for some readings or whatnot, Maybe I'll talk about retrogrades for astrology. We can have a Q&A session this week, Thursday. Where is what going to be at, dear? The retreat is virtual. If I didn't mention it before, the retreat is virtual. It's in the comfort of your own home. Or if you go and stay at a hotel all weekend long on the 26th and the 28th, it is virtual. So on the solstice, we're going to do an Aphrodite ritual. We're going to call in love, and primarily love of self. That is very Venetian, which means byproduct is also very Lemurian. We are activating your seeding, your seed abilities, because we are all seeds. And we are seeding right now the next evolution and the next revolution. We are seeding the next elevational set point for humanity. Okay? But that's going to be a good one. So I'm going to tell you what to gather up for that too. And Secret Tarot is going to help me with that. She's going to co-host. She's going to co-host. So that'll be a little crazy. Anyway. Oh, no problem, Ceresia. Okay, here we go, Keza. Idea. If UFOs show themselves to the world, how will that change really? Stefan, if you are here. I really wish I was on StreamYard right now, because I would bring Stefan up into this stream. Just earlier, we did a consciousness or awareness meditation. And what awareness said was that, yes, it will change religion. And yes, UFOs are going to make themselves known to an even greater way. What's been told and revealed to us thus far is a small tip of the iceberg. 2022, it's going to get a little interesting. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, Marie. It's going to change a lot of people. Some people are going to believe that this is the second coming. Some people are going to believe it's the first coming. All of them will find out that it's neither. And it's not what they think. The most important part, though, is that we who are awakened and have activated our abilities and our DNA are able to help them through it. Yep, I know, Ceresia, they're mentioned. The wheel in the middle of the wheel. And at other times. However, the interpretation thereof and how we've approached them since has been nothing compared to how we should. Someone should tell me why people think that they're only ones. Child, Malika, listen to me. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of times, a lot of people of that persuasion may or may not think that they the only ones that could do a whole lot of stuff. Baby, I don't even pay no attention to that, child. I pay zero now, not a lick or a louie. No F's are given, okay? Because that crazy superiority complex is exactly what's going to be your demise. Now, I don't have time for racism. I really don't have time any longer for the division of the races or the skin colors. But we have to. There are some things that we do need to acknowledge. One of which is the construct and the capabilities and characteristics of melanin in high concentrations in some people as opposed to others. That's not a source of division. That's just a simple fact. When you took photos of the orbs, they were deleted off my phone somehow. Well, I'm pretty sure that probably what happened, because there are the abilities for the government, as you well know. You should know by now. If you don't know, now you know. The government can access anything on your telephone or in your airwaves. Okay? So if you haven't watched even the not even just the Netflix documentary Snowden, but if you want a lighter watch, a lighter look at it, there was a theatrical event or theatrical release, Snowden. Watch that movie. It will give you a complete history of who, how, and why, or complete enough of how they have all gained, how they've gained, especially if you have Verizon, baby, they know everything you're doing. Okay, so they probably took it all. And if you don't think that there's true men in black, there are men in black. Who is this? Stop. Okay, here we go. Aborigines call them star people. Yes, the Egyptians talked about them coming down out of the sky. Jacob's dream, Jacob's ladder. Yeah, that was ET's. That's also a symbolism of your spine and your kundalini rising up to your crown chakra, and then you recognizing that you are a god. During World War II, when they were testing atomic bombs, there was massive increase in UFO sightings. Yeah, that's true. Stone was very good. Go check that out, Amber. You'll find out. It'll shock you. The man from 3036. I have not seen that one yet. It's a documentary. Okay, I'll check that out. I know Elijah was in the wheel, in the middle of the wheel, but that's not even, Elijah saw the wheel in the middle of the wheel. I'm talking about some other types of ways that we could see extraterrestrials or other entities having come and visited this earth. '30s, 36. Tubi? Okay, Tubi. Okay, got it. I mean, have y'all seen? It's all over YouTube. Have y'all seen the footage of the UFOs coming from the sky and going underneath, like not even pausing, just going down into the ocean? Have y'all seen that? There have been so many UFO sightings here in the States and in other countries, over all major places, cities. It's not even funny. And I told you, I saw, there was 3 nights in a row. It's probably a little over 100 of these UFOs, perfect formation, equidistant from each other, straight line, flew over my house. I don't see them that often, and especially not in that number. But they were letting me know they were here to protect me, right? They let me know. This is just the beginning. But we also have to recognize some of these energies that we have called angels are really have homes in other places. In other dimensions, right? They're different dimensional beings. So we might feel that they're this, that, and the other, but they're actual different. Some of them are different star races. What did you post on Facebook that got you kicked off? Hey! Hello, Lovey. Shemaya the shaman. Wow. I know you weren't dreaming. I believe you, Red Violet. Okay, guys. Well, Shemaya, you coming on here, girl? I'm fixing to get off, child. All right, guys. I've been on almost 2 hours. You know I won't be doing this on a Sunday night. Let me get on out of here so I can go eat. I ain't ate nothing tonight, y'all. All right, gang. Thank you for being here. We're going to do a Q&A this week. Do we want to do a little bit of an astrological discussion? And maybe we'll do a little pulling of cards. But definitely we are going to be starting to do these consciousness or these awareness streams and channelings. And we'll see where it goes. I may decide to open some of them up for some, a few questions, but I don't want to be here all night. I can't. I shouldn't say I can't. I probably could. But we'll figure out what we're going to do with the format. Okay? Appreciate you all. Love you all so much. Click that link down below in my description if you haven't already. Or click the link in the pinned comment. Register for that retreat. It's virtual. There's payment plans. Or the total is only $333. Also, if you haven't already and you're still considering it, please click the Linktree link and then schedule a 15-minute call with me to talk about Lightworker Academy. I have heard from numerous sources, Lightworker Academy, in other words, I've had numerous readings. Lightworker Academy is about to blow up. It's about to boom. I want you all to be part of the boom. The growth, the expansion. I want you to be part of it. We're also coming out with a couple new options as well. So schedule a 15-minute call with me to talk to me about coming in. We're going to be having our first graduation actually at the end of the retreat. Our first students will be graduating and talking about what their experience has been. Your mom. I love you, Shemaya. I haven't seen you in so long. Hey, thank you, Keza, for being here. Thank you so much. Next time we get together, guys, I'll be on StreamYard so we can all talk, okay? Okay, loves. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Sleep well. If you dream, write it down. And I look forward to seeing you again really soon. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. I love you guys. Namaste. Bye, guys.